Hey, 5th and 6th grade leaders, have a couple of things for you before I get started. April 30th is Bring a Friend Day. This is going to be for adults as well as kids. We will have gifts, we will have prizes, we will have photo booths and brunch. So I need as many people and leaders as possible to help us in the reef for this day in case it's crazy like it was for Easter. So if you can help us, please email me and let me know as soon as possible. All right, we're continuing the big idea of humility. Humility is I can put others first by serving them. We're going to head over to Matthew chapter 28, verses 16 through 20, where the disciples felt like Jesus should be king now that he is alive, but God had a different plan. Jesus had given them a new job to go and tell everyone in the world about him and to be like Jesus to the rest of the world. Our bottom line this week is I can put others first by doing what Jesus said. As the 5th and 6th graders arrive, there's a game called Sneaky Phrase Game. We need you to arrive early so you can play this game with the kids. As the kids arrive, you're going to encourage them to think of popular catchphrases. They can be funny, they can be strange, they can just be random things that people say. Tell them to get 2 slips of paper and a pen, and they're going to write their catchphrases on those pieces of paper. Once the majority of your students have arrived, they're going to take all those slips of paper and put them in buckets. Instruct everyone to pick out 2 slips of paper and read them silently. Don't share what they have with anyone. Then what they're going to do is you're going to challenge them to walk around, talk with people, and try to sneak in the phrase into the conversation without anyone else noticing. You will give them a conversation starter, so you're going to ask students to share stories from their family's Easter celebration or something that happened this past week. And I want you to play too as a leader. So remind them to try and bust others by guessing what the phrase is that they drew. Play as long as you can until a large group gets started. After large group and worship time, they are going to have dive deeper discussion. The kiddos, if possible, need to be divided up into small groups, boys in one group, girls in another. I am actually going to come in and try and help alleviate some of the overflow. I know there's been a lot of kiddos, just so that we can make sure we divide up into groups and go through some discussion questions. There are some 5th and 6th graders, I've heard some from parents, that are going through some real issues. So I want to have time to be able to get to know these kids on a more intimate basis, and that can only happen in small group time. I'm also going to plan on starting in May a series just for our 5th and 6th grades to address some of the things that have been coming up. After discussion, then they're going to get, after discussion questions, they're going to go to activity number 2 called silent discussion. You're going to pass around some sticky notes and a pen, and you're going to ask students to think about things that Jesus said. What are we supposed to do and not do? How are we supposed to live and love? Tell the students to try and write one thing that Jesus said on each sticky note. These are going to typically fall into 2 categories of what love God and love others. So as the kids, there's instructions on what to do with the sticky notes and how to post them, and a little bit more further discussion time. And then you're going to end in prayer. The first discussion questions under activity 1 may take you most of the time. It really talks about what evangelism is and what is sharing our faith, and asks some real brutal questions for the kids to answer about themselves. So if you don't get to activity 2, that's okay. I'd rather you spend more time in activity 1. All right, huddle up time. Need you to arrive early so that we can have time to laugh together, pray together, just check in with each other and what's going on. 8:35 for first service. Second service no later than 10:10, because we need to touch base before we release the leaders that can head over to service. So please arrive during those times, and let's meet. We may meet right in the middle of the reef, or I may meet you right outside at the door, just so that we can have time to pray in the check-in area or right inside the check-in area door. All right, thanks so much, and I will see you in Huddle Up Time on Sunday.